In 1972, as Ip Man lay dying from throat cancer, he confessed the real reason he distanced himself from Bruce Lee. Brutal pressure from Hong Kong's traditional martial arts community to expel his most brilliant pupil because of Bruce's mixed heritage and willingness to teach outsiders. This was not about arrogance or rivalry, as fans long believed, but about a culture war that left both men forever changed. The missing pieces behind their separation have never been fully told until now. Family members, senior students, and close associates each carried fragments of Ip Man's final words, offering a patchwork of memories rather than a single clear confession. Final. Some recalled late-night hospital visits where Ip Man, voice weakened by cancer, spoke about the mounting strain from within his own school. Cancer. Others remember him referencing Bruce Lee's background and the anger it stirred among traditionalists. Anger no official statement survives. No letter, no audio tape, no signed testimony. No official. Instead, the story relies on overlapping recollections. Ip Man's sons, Ip Chun and Ip Ching, later described their father as torn between his affection for Bruce and the demands of his senior students. Torn William Chung, who introduced Bruce to Wing Chun, recounted how jealousy and resentment festered as Bruce's reputation grew. Jealousy. Wang Shun Leung, Bruce's primary instructor, spoke of shifting alliances and the constant friction over Bruce's street fighting style and outsider status. Friction. Across these accounts, a consistent thread appears. Ip Man faced unrelenting pressure to uphold the unwritten rules of the community, even when it meant distancing himself from his most gifted student. Unrelenting. Yet the absence of a direct, verifiable confession leaves historians and fans divided, forced to weigh the credibility of oral tradition against the silence of the official record. Divided, Bruce Lee's presence at Ip Man's Wing Chun school is confirmed by a handful of hard records and eyewitness accounts from 1954. At just 13 years old, Bruce arrived at the Kowloon classroom with his friend William Chung, who was already recognized as one of Ip Man's most advanced students. The school roster from that year lists Bruce's name among a rotating cast of young men, drawn by the promise of practical fighting skills amid the chaos of post-war Hong Kong. Early group photographs capture Bruce standing off to the side, smaller than most, his posture tense but eager. William Chung later described the introduction as a favor. Bruce had earned a reputation for getting into street fights, and Chung believed that disciplined training could channel that raw energy. The school itself was far from glamorous, a cramped space above a restaurant, filled with battered wooden dummies and the constant clatter of students sparring. Ip Man, already in his 60s, kept a watchful eye from the corner, but day-to-day instruction fell to his senior students. Bruce entered this world not as a chosen protege, but as another restless teenager hoping to gain an edge on the streets. The evidence from 1954 grounds the story. In fact, Bruce Lee, enrolled by William Chung's hand, began his journey in Wing Chun as part of a crowded competitive class, not at the center of attention, but as one among many seeking mastery. Wing Chun traces its roots to a legend. A Buddhist nun named Ung Mui, fleeing destruction at the Shaolin Temple, created a new system of fighting. She passed her knowledge to a young woman named Yim Wing Chun, whose name the art still carries. From the beginning, Wing Chun was more than a set of techniques. It was a tradition guarded closely, passed down from teacher to student in a direct line. In Southern Chinese martial culture, lineage was sacred. Each generation was expected to protect the art, not just from outsiders, but from dilution within. Sometimes written and often spoken, warned against teaching those not considered part of the community. For many, the idea of letting secret methods slip beyond trusted hands was unthinkable. The fear was not only that outsiders might misuse the knowledge, but that the very identity of the art would be lost. This sense of duty shaped every classroom. Instructors watched for loyalty. Students learned to respect hierarchy, and the boundaries of tradition were enforced by group consensus as much as by any formal code. Ip Man, inheriting this legacy, became both a teacher and a guardian. He carried the weight of centuries, the expectation that Wing Chun's essence would survive through careful transmission. In this environment, talent was important, but trust and belonging mattered even more. The threat of breaking the chain, whether by revealing secrets or by accepting those seen as outsiders, was always present, quietly influencing every decision made in the name of tradition. Inside the Kowloon classroom, daily training followed a strict rhythm. Senior students led the drills, their voices echoing above the thud of fists on wooden dummies. Wang Leung, already known for his sharp instincts and undefeated record in rooftop challenge matches, became Bruce Lee's primary instructor. Wang's approach was practical. He favored sparring and real contact over endless repetition of forms. For Bruce, this was a perfect fit. He craved results, not rituals, and pushed himself to outpace everyone around him. But Bruce's presence unsettled the group. Many classmates saw him as an outsider, not just for his mixed heritage, but for the way he carried himself. Before Wing Chun, Bruce had acted in over 20 Hong Kong films as a child, earning him a kind of celebrity that set him apart. Some students whispered that he received special treatment, while others resented the attention he drew. Bruce's quick progress in sparring only fueled the tension. He was brash, competitive, and never shy about challenging older students. Stories spread of bruised egos and heated exchanges after class. Wang Leung, for his part, recognized Bruce's raw potential. He pushed Bruce hard, matching him in speed and aggression, but also taught him the value of discipline. Under Wang's guidance, Bruce honed his reflexes and learned to turn his street fighting instincts into controlled skill. Still, the gap between Bruce and the rest of the class widened. Where others prized tradition and slow mastery, Bruce wanted answers now. The school became a place where ambition and resentment collided, setting the stage for conflicts that would reach far beyond the walls of that cramped upstairs room. In 1959, Bruce Lee left Hong Kong for Seattle, carrying little more than a suitcase and $100 in his pocket. He was 18, an American citizen by birth, born in San Francisco on November 27, 1940, and determined to leave behind the chaos of street fights that had become too dangerous in Kowloon. In Seattle, Bruce enrolled at the University of Washington and began teaching martial arts to classmates in parks and basements. By 1963, he opened the Junfan Gung Fu Institute, naming it after himself. The curriculum blended Wing Chun principles with boxing, fencing, and street fighting tactics, an approach that broke every unwritten rule of tradition. Bruce welcomed anyone willing to train, regardless of race or background. Word of his inclusive, multiracial classes traveled back to Hong Kong, where traditionalists saw it as an unforgivable betrayal. In 1967, Bruce formalized his own system, Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist, declaring that no single style held all the answers. For many in the old community, this was the final break, a public rejection of everything they believed martial arts should be. Ip Man's final years were marked by decline. Years of opium use had left his body frail, and throat cancer robbed him of his voice. In late 1972, he could barely speak above a whisper, yet his reputation in Hong Kong remained unshaken. Friends and family visited his bedside, bringing news of Bruce Lee's rising fame overseas. The world was changing, but for Ip Man, each day was a struggle to hold on. Against this backdrop, Bruce returned to Hong Kong as a film star. Accounts from those close to the family recall a brief reunion between teacher and student. Bruce, now celebrated worldwide, asked if he was still considered part of Ip Man's Wing Chun family. Ip Man, weakened but alert, responded with a soft laugh, never denying the bond they once shared. Just 7 months after Ip Man's death on December 2, 1972, Bruce Lee himself died in Hong Kong at age 32. The closeness of their passing stunned martial arts fans. Many struggled to accept that the separation between master and student was shaped not by personal betrayal, but by the weight of tradition, illness, and the pressures of a changing world. The truth left some angry, others heartbroken, but for all who cared about their legacy, it forced a reckoning with the myths and realities of martial arts history. Today, martial arts lineages still wrestle with who gets to inherit tradition and who gets to break it. As global students transform ancient arts, the old barriers fade, but new questions take their place. Progress rarely pleases everyone, but silence never writes the future. What do you think?